this a quick pod of just about motivation this week. But yeah, so I told Brando earlier, I was like, this is like a perfect day to talk about motivation because this was probably the hardest day for me mentally and physically since I started the prep. And
It, yeah.
go ahead.
I was literally right when you said the motivation topic, and right when I jumped on, like reminded me about the motivation we're going to talk on today. I was like, I feel like you are in a really good spot to talk about that because you're going through it.
Especially today. I told Brando there was just so much like when you're in a prep, like you use so much energy with cardio and strength training and stuff like that and then obviously the food is low, so your energy is super low.
Yeah.
So the energy that you do have, you use on cardio and strength. And
Yeah.
so when things like go at a whack, like during your normal day, it's just like shit, it like really like messes it with you mentally,
Yeah.
and then you have to find that motivation to just be like, you know what, things are okay. um I'm not gonna lie, I had one of those moments today.
Yeah.
But I needed the motivation to get here on time because I was literally, it was like I thought I was ready to be late. I was I was like shocked I made it home. And to be honest, us starting late was actually kind of like
Yeah.
like I actually
Well,
have
you're welcome.
I was like, I actually have 15 minutes for like myself to just chill.
Mhm.
Um, but how am I gonna get this motivation for my next cardio tonight in a couple, like in the next 30 minutes? Obviously for me, it's kind of it's easy because like I want to be successful with my competition. So that's
Yeah.
always on my head, yeah, like in my mind, you know what I mean? So that's one of them. But another way is just like realizing that getting like number one, getting outside whenever I'm like during the day I'm exhausted or tired or like work was crazy, like going outside and going on a walk, getting fresh air, feeling like the wind and stuff is just, for some reason, it makes you it changes your mood. It makes you like
Hmm.
it puts you in a better mood. So that's number one. Number two, I talked about in the past, is waking up early. Brando, I know one of your biggest things is making your bed. That helps with like
It is.
motivation throughout the day.
It is. Well, for me, and I'll let you finish.
No, you're good.
It's all about the small wins. So I feel like the motivation comes and goes depending on, what state you're in. The motivation is going to come or go. But if you can stay consistent on, let's say you have a whiteboard, you're writing down your daily task, you have some weekly tasks, long-term goals, short-term goals. If you're staying consistent, then that motivation can always come back, but it's going to come and go. That's just the way motivation is. You're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have days where you're super motivated, feel like, no way I'm taking a nap today. I'm giving it everything I got from the time I wake up to the time till I go to sleep, checking off all your to-do list. And then some days where it's like, you feel like the weight of the world is on you, and it's like, it's hard to even get out of bed. But if you can stay consistent and you keep doing those small things, then that motivation's always going to be able to come back. You're always going to be able to recapture that. So that's why I do the little things every day, like waking up early, making my bed, making sure that I get my gallon of water in, trying not to miss any meals. All these little small things that if you start missing one or two of them, now the motivation's starting to go away because it's like, damn, man, I didn't do everything I was supposed to do today. But if you continuously do the things that you're supposed to do, then you're going to always know you're doing the right things. That motivation is going to be there. So that's my big thing about motivation, man. You got to have consistency to have any type of motivation. So
Yeah.
the
I agree.
the phone is a big one. Like the phone, there's a difference between if you have time on your hands and getting something done productively. There's a difference from doing that. I don't know if it's your endorphins or what it is, but like if you sit down and you sit on your phone, it's gonna bring you to a place where you're just like unmotivated, tired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, compared to, let's say you have some time doing the dishes, throwing the dishes in the dishwasher, or like taking the dishes out, cleaning your apartment, whatever it is. Like it's a different feeling than sitting on the couch and getting on your phone and going on Instagram, you know?
Yeah. Like I think it's because a big reason is like a lot of us, even though we don't want to accept that we are like list kind of people, like motivation follows momentum. You know what I mean? So like Brando waking up, making his bed first thing in the morning, it's a thing off the checklist. He got momentum on his side. He rolls that into the next one. And to your point where you said like doing house chores versus sitting down on Instagram, like on Instagram, yeah, you get dopamine kicks and shit, but like, what is that checking off on your to-do list on a day-to-day basis? Like, what is that? It's not pushing you towards anything. Like if you run a business online like we do and you have to be on there, you have to post, you have to answer DMs, that's something else entirely. But if you're just mindlessly scrolling, yeah, you're getting dopamine hits, but there's no fulfillment because you're not actually checking shit off the checklist that you need to be doing.
Yeah, like
You know what I
just
mean?
like Brando said, small wins. Yeah,
Yeah.
All
I
wins
agree completely.
accumulate
Yeah, they snowball.
into momentum. All those small wins, you're creating momentum, creating momentum. At the end of the day, you're ready to go to sleep. Boom, we
Yeah.
restart in the morning, you know?
Brando, you're a finance guy. Compounding interest. It's the same thing, right?
It is. It is
It's
similar.
true. It's funny too that we're talking about this because, like, even though, like I said, oh, it was nice to have like that 15 minutes to do
Yeah.
nothing just now. I could tell I'm like a lot more tired because what I do for this 15 minutes, I sat on my phone. You
Yeah.
know, I'm like
Hmm.
10 times tired now.
Yeah.
When you know what I mean? Like if we were talking before, I would have been good. We would have hung up and I would
Yeah.
have gotten to my cardio and would have been good. Now my cardio, I'm gonna turn on my show and I'll be like, is it 40 minutes yet?
Yeah.
Like,
Bro, and it's not even to be all science and shit, but they have done studies like where when you're looking at your phone, your neck's down. So you start shallow breathing, which means not as much oxygen is getting to the brain. So naturally it makes you more tired too. Versus like when you're up doing stuff, usually your neck's up, you're pulling air and you're taking deeper breaths, shit like that.
oh, okay. So now for now on at my desk, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
head out.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big deep breaths.
There you go. While you're doing cardio too. I've heard it. I've heard it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, imagine
Just
me down there with my
throw your
head
head back.
in the air. Like, the
Yeah.
person next to me, like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid?
Guys getting like possessed or some shit.
It's yeah, it's so funny. Like, I agree too because now it's weird because this might just be exactly what you said, Caleb. I watch a movie for my cardio,
Hmm.
and I used to have it on the bottom of the treadmill, and
Hmm.
then I decided to switch it, and there's like this little spot on the top, and I put it on the top because I
Yeah.
noticed at the bottom, I don't know what it is, but I feel like with my head down, I've been kind of like I look at the time more because I'm just
Yeah.
like worried about the time. Where when I kept
Hmm.
my head up the whole time in the new spot, completely different. It's
Yeah.
like I don't even think about the time. I'm more focused on the movie actually.
Yeah.
So that could definitely be it. I didn't think
Yeah.
of that, but
It
I
could
definitely
play
noticed
into
that
it.
this week. This week I
Yeah.
noticed that.
Yeah.
So
When I used to do my cardio game, I lived in Tampa because you got to be shredded year round. I would I put my phone over the timer so I couldn't see that thing.
yeah, like the towel. Some people put their towel
Yep.
over it.
I do
Yep.
the towel. I do the towel.
Yeah.
It's so
I don't
funny.
want to see
This
it.
you guys are gonna love this. I did that too, right? But then I started noticing my brain started noticing the signs of when the time was at, if that makes sense. So, like for example, my when my chest started to sweat on my shirt, I knew
You
it's
knew
we're
how
getting
many
at
minutes you
15.
were. Yeah.
When my head started to sweat, right, and the drops would start to sweat from my head, I knew I was
What
around
time it was.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
so
funny.
yeah, I was
That's in
like,
tune with
fuck.
yourself. That's being in tune with
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
I was like, oh man, like I cover the time, but I still know the time. That I do my cardio at the same time every night too. I know exactly where the sun's going.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to be done because the sun's okay. The sun's almost gone. I'm almost done.
Yeah.
That's
Gotcha.
hysterical. Uh, I was going to ask you guys what there's the biggest thing about motivation to get to the gym is getting to the gym. Like when you there's and we're bodybuilders, we love this shit, right? Like we
Yeah.
love to do this, but there's definitely days where it's like fuck, like I got to get to the gym. Like where you know what I mean. No
Yeah.
matter, I don't care who you are, I don't care how much you love the gym. There's those days.
Yeah.
Um, but the hardest part is getting there. But once you're there, it's completely different. You snap out of it, right? Now,
Easy.
what motivates you guys to get there? What's the motivation to get there?
I think about my we just last week talked about our fitness journey. So obviously, I always think about being, my nickname back then was Little B. Like, I was the smallest guy. Like, so I always think about that. When I know I got to get something done, I got to get it done. That's just how it is for me
Yeah.
now. So that's my motivation to get there. Yeah, there's some days where, of course, you're not going to feel like you want to do it. But how many times have you not done something that you should have done? And then when around that time when you would have been finishing up on whatever that task was, then you're like, damn, I should have just did that. I should have
Yeah.
just did it. I would have been wrapping up right now.
Yeah.
And you feel way better at the end of the day when you do all those things, which leads back to that motivation that you need to have. So now you got the motivation to go about your day tomorrow and kill it, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at with that.
What about you, Caleb? I like that. I like that.
Yeah. I think just like before I like go, you like one for my mental health, because I know if I go 2 or 3 days without working out, I'm gonna be agitated, I'm gonna be like low and just shit like that. Energy's gonna be off. But I like to like set goals for each workout because it like gets me more hyped for that. So like if I'm doing legs, like I told you guys that one when I texted you that one week, I was like, bro, I just PR on hack squat and literally thought I was gonna fucking die.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
each week since then, I'm like programming hack squat in because I want to beat that or I want to match it. Or if I can't go heavier, I want to do more reps. So I think when you like, if you have a game plan, it helps to like set goals for either an exercise or a workout and try to one up it. And it's going to motivate you a little bit more to want to go because you want to beat your best of what you just did. But I think like people that just kind of go to the gym just to do it, that's cool too. But you need to start setting goals for yourself. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to do any of that shit. But like if you don't have any goals or protocols or programs to go into the gym and you're just walking around fucking doing this and doing that because it's open, you're going to be a lot less likely to go. So have a program, have a plan, set a goal for that plan, and you'll be a lot more driven to get your ass there.
I completely agree with that. That's what I love about the gym is progressive overload. Like
Mm-hmm.
if there was no such thing as progressive overload, it would just be a chore, you know?
Yeah.
But like going and knowing that you have something to beat is like the best part of
Yeah.
of working out, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard. It's harder now that like when you shred, of course, when you pull back on carbs because you don't feel like you have that energy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that makes it difficult, you know. But when you're shredding versus bulking, you have different goals. You have different goals, meaning, okay, you might not be able to bench press 150-pound dumbbells anymore, right? But you're still able to bench press 90-pound dumbbells for reps, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's always that progressive overload. I completely agree with that, Caleb. Really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I like
Uh,
that. I like
and one
that.
thing I haven't had to use this in a while. It's more so with cardio, just because I'm a bitch and I hate it. But it's like I made that post yesterday. I don't know if y'all saw it about like temptation bundling. So it's
Mhm.
like if you're struggling just getting your ass to the gym, you got to like be accountable to yourself and make sure you don't slack off once, because once you do it once, game over. But like tie a habit that you really like to do, if that's watching a TV show, reading, or watching something, tie that habit to either not, don't allow yourself to do it until you complete the task you need to, or like I said with cardio, you can do it while you do cardio, right? So that's something good for people who are just going through some shit and they're lacking that motivation. Or if you're new and you just want to get your ass there, pick a show. When I was in Tampa, I was binging anime. I was binging Attack on Titan and shit. And bro, I didn't watch that unless I was doing cardio. So you better bet your ass I was doing cardio 7 days a week just to catch up
Yeah.
on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's another like little trick you can do in the meantime until that's a habit.
Yeah. And I completely agree. Even just if you're not listening to anything or watching anything, going outside, not even with headphones on or anything, and just listening to like your surroundings too, could also feel really good. It also
Yeah.
could motivate you just because you're I know sounds like corny and cliche, but like you're becoming one with the nature, the world, you know what I mean?
And I think this is like it has to do with motivation, but it's not like how you get motivated, but it'll help people understand. A lot of people think like the action like to get like to your goals is like you get motivated, you take action, you get the results, when in reality the process is more like you take action, you see some results, and then the motivation becomes like a thing, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it's so hard to do anything when you don't know what you're going to like. You're not going to invest money without the hopes of getting something in return. You're not going to invest your time and energy into something without hopes of getting something in return. So it's very hard to grasp up motivation, which is this fucking thing that we just feel. It's not real. Like it just comes and goes, and there's nothing you can do to hold on to it. So we wait around and we wait around, and it's never fucking there when you want it. So people just wait around for years and don't change shit. Where if they realize, like, start taking small actionable steps, you'll start to feel better, you'll start to look better, and you'll start to see those results and that return on investment. And then motivation will actually become more present.
Yeah, because you're right. The first week, the first 2 weeks are the hardest, and you don't see much change.
Mm-mm.
You really don't see any physical change the first 2 weeks.
And you don't really get stronger either. You're just sore all the fucking time.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So the motivation's tough the first 2 weeks, but after the first 2 weeks, you start to notice your energy.
Yeah.
Like, so I even have some clients, honestly, the first week, they're like, dude, my energy's through the roof. You know what I mean?
It's probably because you got blood moving around and shit.
For sure. I get
Exactly.
that all the time. All the time. First 2 weeks, this is the best I've felt in years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of things that we could do to stay motivated, to get motivated. There's one other thing before we have to get off. I'm sure we're probably cutting it close to 7. But the 5-second rule, you guys know?
Oh yeah, NASA.
So many of my people, previous coaches, talked about the 5-second rule, and ever since I relate it to my clients as well. And it's waking up in the morning. You get the alarm, you count down from 5, and then you get up. You don't let yourself count to 10. You get up after 5 seconds. Same thing to go to the gym. Remember when we just talked about like what motivates you to get to the gym? Like, what's the step to get there? Is the 5-second rule. Like, after I eat, I'll be done with eating. I'll be like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then get my ass up and then get to the gym.
Yeah.
So,
and it sounds so dumb, but it works. It works.
It does work. It's crazy. It definitely does.
Emphasize, like, don't just like get up, like quickly get up. Like,
exactly.
Like, shock yourself to awake. Yeah.
Yeah. If you get up slow, it's easier to go right back down.
Yeah.
I get up so quick in the morning, like throw the sheet off,
bro,
run
same
to the bathroom, turn on the light, start brushing my teeth, like all within 30 seconds. Like, everything's done.
My girl probably doesn't realize this, but the days she sleeps in, I get up at 4. Like, shit, every fucking time I like jump out of bed, she'll like side eye me. I don't think she even remembers doing it, but it's every morning. And like, it's the same thing. Like, if I'm like taking a break in the middle of the day, eating lunch, maybe we're just watching a TV show, like when I'm done, same thing. You gotta like count, get your ass up, and like stop what you're doing to start moving on. Like, just do it as quickly as you fucking can, so you can't fall back.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree completely. So, to recap: get your ass up, 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Get outside, get some fresh air. Especially if you're bored. Try and stay off the phone as much as you can. Brando, make your bed.
Small wins. That's
small wins.
That's my
checklist.
Small wins. It's all about compounding all those small wins. You're gonna start seeing some real momentum. It's just, that's how it is. An avalanche, starts with really small and then it gets really big. So it's all about the small steps, and that's the best part about the process to me, and always has been, is taking those small steps, every rep, every 5 pounds. They're all small wins, but they add up to get to where we're at now. So keep
absolutely
keep on doing what you need to be doing, and you're gonna have motivation. There is another way to get motivation too, though. Hit rock bottom. That'll give you a little bit of motivation.
Which all 3 of us, I think, did at one point.
Oh,
bro, that ain't motivation. That's like, you ain't got no other fucking option, my man.
Exactly.
There's nothing past there.
There's 2 ways. Do what you need to do, get the things done. Keep building up those small wins, or you didn't do that, and now you let bullshit go on too long, and now you're at rock bottom. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
There's your other motivation, because you got no other option. You better get to it.
So burn the boats or burn the ships
and challenge yourself. What is it?
Burn the boats. Basically, I forgot what war it was, but it's like back in Roman times, where like they conquered the city where they were not supposed to win, because when they landed, the the general or whatever burned all their boats, so they couldn't go home and retreat. So the only way they could go is forward, and they end up taking the fort or whatever.
Oh wow.
If you take away your safety net, you'll have to succeed or you'll fucking die trying, basically.
Yeah. So pretty much, yeah, past rock bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, like you got to
So-
figure this shit out or you're done.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.